graders, it's Mrs. Ibanez. I hope that you had a great weekend and you're ready to kick off our syllable lesson for this week. So just kind of a quick recap, quick refresh on what we've covered. We are officially on our fourth syllable, which is pretty exciting. So jumping back to week 1, we talked about closed syllables. Remember that is going to be our consonant sandwich with a short vowel coming in between those two consonants. We have our V-E syllable type, which we know is that long vowel followed by a consonant and then that silent E on the end. Last week we talked open syllables, which was a consonant followed by a long vowel sound. So those vowels that said their name, we know those were opened. And this week we're talking about our controlled syllables. So these are pretty cool because you'll notice that we're going to mark them up a little bit differently. In this one right here is our example. They circled their R controlled syllable or R controlled vowel. And what we're going to be on the hunt for is any vowel followed by an R. That is going to be our R controlled syllable. So we're going to be on the look for that. We're also going to get a little bit more practice with that open syllable as well as V-E and that closed syllable that we've been working on as well. You'll see kind of a combination of all of these in your words this week. So jumping into our R controlled syllables, when we get out of your way here, we're going to start out with our syllable definition. So read it with me. This is going to be a part of a word that contains sounds, or we know phonemes of a word. It's going to have at least one vowel in it, and it can be called a beat. So remember those natural breaks that we hear in words where they kind of start and stop. Those are our beats or our syllables that we're definitely going to be looking for and listening for as we go through our words for the week. So jumping in, let's take a look at our first word. Word number 1, similar to our example over here if you caught it, is the word burn. So remember I said that we were going to be looking for a vowel followed by an R, and once we see that, that is where we're going to focus our attention. So in the word burn, I see my U, I see my R. We are not going to do any underlining to this week or marking up the letters. When we have an R-controlled syllable, I'm going to circle my vowel, I'm going to circle the R. So that's how I mark up that word. I'm not going to, like I said, put a macron above this vowel or a brev, because when we have R controlled syllables, my R is always going to control that sound that the vowel is making. So in some cases it may be long, some cases it may be short, in some cases we might not know. So to make it simpler, when you see your vowel followed by that R, give it a circle. Now, if we think about how many beats or natural breaks we hear in the word burn, I hear 1. So I'm going to give it 1 scoop for 1 syllable, and because we're focused on R-controlled syllables, I'm going to put an R below this syllable. So my R is there. That's how I'm going to mark that one up. In your list this week, you're going to see words similar to burn. 1 syllable, circling out that R-controlled vowel, and that'll be it. So jumping into words 2, 3, and 4, these are going to be our multisyllabic words, which means that these words are all going to have more than 1 syllable type in them. So multisyllabic, multi we know means many, syllabic syllables. So we're going to be on the hunt for the different syllables that we see making up these words. So jumping over into number 2, we have the word forbid. Easiest thing for me to spot out right away is that our controlled vowel. I see O-R right here, and give it a circle. So in the word forbid, as soon as I have my O-R, I'm going to break the syllable right there. So right after that R-controlled vowel, that's where my syllable breaks. If we listen to the word forbid, that is also where I'm hearing that natural break. So if I scoop, I know I'm going to scoop here to that R-controlled syllable. That's where I'm going to break because that's where that syllable stops. And then I can go ahead and scoop out the rest. Now in this first syllable, we know that that's R-controlled, vowel followed by that R sound. I'm going to mark it off R. However, over here in the word bid, I better pay attention to what vowel sounds I'm hearing. I hear id, I. It's not saying its name. I know that it's a short vowel sound, so I'm going to give this one a brev. A brev, remember, is kind of that little smiley face on our happy face, that's to show that that vowel is not saying its name, it's the short vowel sound. I also see a consonant on both sides of that short vowel. If I go back over here to my syllable types, that falls under my closed syllable category. So I'm going to mark this one off, closed. And that is our first multisyllabic word, forbid. Now, in our other words, remember I shared with you, we're going to be on the hunt for multiple syllable types as well. So let's jump into these because there are a few different things that I want you to pay attention to. So number 3, we have the word army. Now, if I'm taking a look at this, I see a few things kind of sticking out to me right away. I have my A, which is our vowel, followed by that R. I'm going to give that a circle. Now, just like we did in forbid, remember as soon as I have that R-controlled syllable, that's where my word is going to stop. If I listen to what I'm hearing in the word army, I hear that natural break after my R-controlled syllable. So if I scoop this, I'm going to break it there after the R-controlled syllable and scoop out the rest, me. Now, easy to see, this is definitely R-controlled. Not very much of a trick question on that one. However, when we do have me that we're working with, this is interesting. I have a consonant. I know M is a consonant. I'm hearing E, but this Y is not an E, and it's not saying Y. So remember, that's my sometimes vowel, and I'm going to have to mark that off in a couple of ways. So when we have Y standing in place of that vowel, we're going to first mark it off with the macron, and that's my straight line across to say that that vowel is saying its name. However, because Y is not saying E, I need to, in parentheses above my macron, just give myself a little reminder of what sound I'm hearing in the word army. I'm hearing the word E. So I marked it off right there, army. Now, if we go back to our syllable types chart, consonants followed by long vowel sounds, there it is right there. I know that at the end of my word army, that this is an open syllable. So R-controlled followed by an open syllable to give us the word army. Now, in number 4, the word restore. This one's a little bit tricky, and you're going to want to try to do a couple of things that we've done in other words, but I'm going to tell you right now, don't do it, stop. So in the word restore, I am seeing my R-controlled vowel right here. However, I have to look past my R-controlled vowel because I'm also seeing some letters on the other side of that R-controlled vowel. If I'm hearing the word restore, I don't hear any extra syllables on this word, so I have to pay attention to what I have. I have E, I don't hear restore E, so one thing that I do know, that E is silent, I'm going to mark it out. My O-R, I'm not going to circle in this case because I know that that O is saying its name, and these are words that we have to be careful with. When we have letters coming after that R-controlled vowel that aren't in a separate syllable by themselves, then we need to go back over to our syllable types because we've seen words like this. When we have a long vowel, a consonant, and a silent E, we covered that in week 2, that's our V-E syllable type. So this one is kind of like a trick, not going to be our R-controlled syllable. This is going to be our V-E. So let me mark out that syllable first. I know that I have I hear that right there, and then I know I have store. That is going to be marked off like I shared with you, V-E. It isn't R-controlled because that E isn't in a syllable by itself, and we have more letters coming after that R-controlled vowel, so you have to be careful with those. In restore, some of you might already be yelling at your teacher. You probably noticed that we have st, right? That right there, blend. That is not a digraph, so in order to mark out that blend, I need to underline the X by itself, underline the T by itself, and that tells us that it's a blend. Two different sounds, however, those like to kind of blend together. Now let's talk about this first syllable that we have re. Definitely hear the E, that one's pretty easy. I have a consonant preceding that. You were coming before my long vowel E, so I know that that one is an open syllable. So those are our syllable types that you are going to be working with for the week. You may see in some cases, like I shared with you, burn, where some of your words only have one syllable. You're going to circle that R controlled vowel and then just mark it off R. Some of your words are going to be a combination of closed syllables and R controlled syllables in those multisyllabic words. They could be R controlled followed by open, or open and then R controlled. And just sharing with you now, you have one other word on the list this week that is kind of like our trick words. We have some letters coming after your R controlled vowel, so be very careful with it, because just like we did in this case, it's going to be marked off V-E and not R controlled. So see if you can find that one this week as well. Other than that, I think that's all I have for you. Don't forget that you're free to always check into study sessions on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, and we'll be there and we're happy to help you. So hope you guys have a great week.